in life. I welcome you one, I welcome you all. However, my lords and ladies, I expect to hear a big loud cheer when I say, welcome to the Trebuchet! Oh dear. Guys, cancelling, they're not interested. Hold on. Let's try that again. My lords, ladies, knights and nobles, and everyone here assembled, I expect to hear a big loud cheer when I say, welcome to the Trebuchet! Okay, we're on. My lords and ladies, I welcome you here to stay. We're about to witness the power of medieval power at its strongest. If you want to break down a castle wall, this is the machine that you would use. Knights will help, archers may help, but they will not assure the breakdown of that castle wall. The only thing that will do this in the 12th, 13th century is the machine you see over the river. The only thing that will replace this effectively is a cannon, and that's a technological advancement. It's corrected every historical detail. Indeed, even our crew sitting at the front there, diligently, ready and raring to go. As you can clearly see. They will not start unless you give them the correct command phrase. The command this day is taken from the 15th century. Henry V in his campaign in Agincourt. The cry there to engage the enemy was the cry of havoc. So everybody, on the count of 3, cry havoc as loud as you can, and you will be surprised at the display of athleticism you're about to witness. So here we go. Havoc after 3. 1, 2, 3! And see them move like leaping gazelles. Gazelle like they... We're at the gazelle bit. We're at the gazelle. Let's try it again. I want hands raised high, voices raised higher. Let me hear you. 1, 2, 3! Cry havoc! Let's let the dogs of war! So, my lords and ladies, we begin. Early versions of this machine would use beasts of burden, horses or oxen to pull down the heavy throwing arm. Imagine, if you can, a team of horse or oxen to the rear. As we look at the machine, the left is the rear, the right is the front. So imagine these animals yoked to the arm, and by dint of their brawn alone, they would pull down on the massive throwing lever. But taking animals into a battlefield zone has many issues. In terms of using the machine itself, it's not as effective as it sounds. Also, it costs money, manpower, and resources. And let's be honest, let's be practical. You're taking livestock into a siege line, where there just happens to be, traditionally, a great concentration of many, many hungry soldiers. Those soldiers aren't looking at your horse and oxen and thinking, oh, that's a valuable military strategic asset. That is not their first thought. Their first thought is dinner, lunch, burgers, steak. On a wine, I'm on a run. So of course, those animals will disappear. And when they disappear, your very expensive war machine is redundant. So another answer was sought. Another answer was found, and this is the best of those answers. This is a man-powered trebuchet. The wheels we're using to pull down this massive throwing arm, these, believe it or not, and I love the irony of this, these are crane wheels. We use these to actually build castles and cathedrals. Imagine building a massive cathedral at Sen, for example. Imagine having to carry stone to the top of that edifice as it's under construction. It would take hours. Imagine the hod carrying, the back-breaking labour that would take. So what they did instead was got these massive wheels. They have an axle between the two. A rope would be attached to that axle, would go to a pulley at the top or an anchor, and then come down either to a net or a platform. And in that net or platform, you place your finished stone. People walk in the wheels. Rope spools onto the axle, and the stone is lifted. Labour-saving device. All we've done is attach it to the throwing arm. So our crew's action of walking in the wheels turns the axle, spools the rope, pulling down on the throwing arm. The crew have made it look easy. Hopefully I've made it sound simple. But it's not. Hard work. See the arm? The arm is made of 2 ash trees, weighs 1 ton. See the counterweight box now rising out of the heart of the machine, iron shod? When empty, that oak box weighs 1 ton. There's 2 tons there, and it's half full. Ballast, 5 tons of it. 5 tons of rock and aggregate. Imagine that, before your very eyes, in a matter of what, 4 minutes, 4 people have raised over 7 tons. What a great way to witness the efficiency and efficacy of a machine used back in the 12th and 13th century. But of course, it hurts our winders. The lactate builds in the leg, breath will catch in the chest, sweat will go into the armpits. I think we need to encourage them to greater efforts and let them know that we're here. So on the count of 3, everybody, I want to hear a big loud cheer for the Trebuchet winders so they know we appreciate what they're up to. So let me hear you. 1, 2, 3! No, I'm going to hear that. Come on, they're working really hard. 1, 2, 3! And of course, as they walk in those wheels, also to add insult to injury, as they're walking in the wheels, the motion of the wheels induces a sense of nausea. The light comes through the slats, blinds you, and this motion induces this sense of sickness. And it's not great throwing up in a wheel, or a floor becomes a ceiling with every revolution. And the idea behind it, what we need to do is to get that arm to that A-frame at the back. You can see Master Mark, that's our Trebuchet master. He's in charge of this machine. He's at this moment shouting out distances to the crew because they can't see how far they've got to go, how long their labour is to continue. What he wants to do is to get, you look where the rope's attached to the arm, if you go to the right of it, it's a big black collar. That is a metal eye, a loop hanging off there. The actual trigger is basically a big metal hook. And we bring the two together, a hook and eye. So we're just there now. It's getting harder and harder as that box emerges out of the heart of the machine. And once we've got that trigger and that eye in place, we will then have to immobilise it. We will then put in a couple of safeties, either a pin on the trigger and a big heavy chain. Here we go, so wind it slow and hold. Trigger goes in, and then a pin goes in to stop the trigger falling. A chain then goes on. Right there. The crew are now free to leave the machine. They cannot leave beforehand. We have to have these safeties on. So we've got the chain holding the arm down. We've got a metal pin immobilising the trigger. Those are 2 perfect safeties. But we've got another safety we don't want. Look at the rope that's pulled it down. That which has been beneficial is now, quite frankly, an encumbrance. It's in the way. If I was to pull the trigger now, take off the chain, pull out the pin and pull the trigger, nothing would happen. Why? Because the rope that's pulled the arm down is strong enough to hold it in place. So we need to get rid of that rope. What are we going to do? Now, if I was Ridley Scott doing a Hollywood medieval blockbuster movie, I know exactly what I would do. I would get my lead actor on a big heavy horse, charging into the fray, sword raised high. Seeing there's an issue with the trebuchet and the enemy are getting closer, I would raise my sword high, I would go charging into the ranks, I would raise my sword and I would cut the rope, pulling the trigger at the same time. The boulder would fly through the hair, hit the bad guy, and we would be safe! I expected a much bigger cheer. I'm not saying it again. However, though that's very dramatic, it's not particularly practical or historically accurate. You see, we've got to do 1 release, if we're lucky, optimally every 6 minutes. That would be 10 releases in an hour. Having to replace the rope every single time would be, well, impractical. I'm afraid the truth is, maybe not so dramatic, but a lot more practical, a bit more prosaic, is we just get our winders to face in the opposite direction, as you can see. As they walk in the wheels, we unravel the rope that's wound onto the axle, and you can see Mark now actually at the rear of the device. That rope he's pulling on, he's just pulling on the rope that's unwinding off the axle. We'll move it out the way of the arm, so the arm has free movement, and then we're ready to go. We now need to talk about the missile. What are we going to launch? What are we going to throw? Well, this morning, as we're getting close to the summer holidays, I think we could possibly throw a child, yes? Let me try that again. Yesterday I got a massive cheer, I really did. I said to my lord and lady, who thinks I should throw a child? Which child wants to be thrown? You guys are over there, you're waiting for that show, not this one. It has to be said that if I do throw you from this machine, you will go from there, you'll go from 0 miles an hour to 150 miles an hour. You will sail all the way down the length of the island, 170 metres, and you will go splat when you hit the ground. I'm afraid that might curtail your summer holiday just a little bit. Today we're going to throw a stone, 18 kilos. We're going to throw it all the way down the length of the island. All those parameters then apply. 0 miles an hour to 150 in a second. It will travel today about 170 metres. It's a bit cooler. It might actually hamper how far it goes a little bit. We're going to use a rope that's attached to it, so it will send it high because it will extend the length of the arm, giving us a really high arm. Medieval man when throwing boulders would use a slingshot, keeping the trajectory low, lots of power, lots of speed, and up to 200, maybe 250 yards in some cases. Can you imagine? Almost a quarter of a kilometre away, I can hit your castle. One release every 6 minutes. That's 10 releases in an hour, ultimately from this machine. If I've got 2 or 3 of these machines, that wall will crack. That wall will crumble. It will fall. When it falls, I send in my army. You guys can be in my army, yes? Yes. I said you will be in my army, yes? Yes. Will you fight with a sword? Will you fight with an axe? This is the big one. Will you die for me? You're ready to be thrown from a machine, but then you say no. However, if I send my army into the breach, fight in the breach, I take over the castle. Good news, everybody. I've got a castle with a hole in the wall. Self-defeating. What I like about the Trebuchet is we get a clue to its purpose, actually in its name. What a Trebuchet, it means to overthrow or throw over. And so if we can take it literally or metaphorically, more often than not, rather than go through a castle wall, we go over it. We send things over. So if I send in stones and smash down a castle wall, as I said, a lot of property damage, and I've got to fix that. What I could do instead is send over fire. Use big, heavy stones and fireballs. One release every 6 minutes, so it still applies. And imagine the conflagration of flame that would ensue as fireball after fireball hits the citadel, burning all the wooden buildings out, all the wood and the thatch goes up. Imagine, if you can, the black plume of smoke rising to the heavens, and for miles around, everybody can see the Plantagenets are here. When we turn up, you open your gates. If not, I will burn you out. Burn out one place, everywhere else will acquiesce. It's a perfect message. But we could do more than that. We could turn it into a machine of terror. Maybe send out an emissary to me, to parley terms. I don't like your emissary. I knock him out. I stick him in the machine, and I send him back the quick way. This happened. Well, like I said, bits of him back the quick way. I can turn it into a machine of germ warfare, using the rotting carcasses of animals that are too far gone to eat, and what I can do then is send over diseased flesh, spreading disease. I can turn it into a machine of chemical warfare, using pots of quicklime. Send pots of lime sailing over the castle wall, smashes on the cobbled streets, you all get covered in lime. Has an unfortunate side effect, lime, when it reacts to the moisture in your skin, it has a caustic reaction that burns. You're going to be in real pain. Let me hear a big loud scream from you all. 1, 2, 3! Okay, not that much pain by the sounds of it. However, I think today we're going to throw a boulder, and our Trebuchet Master Mark is waiting at the rear of the device. Everyone has moved away from the machine. The only person allowed near it now is our Trebuchet Master. Let's find out if he's ready. Everybody, as loud as you can, over by the birds of prey, and everybody here, I want you to shout, "Are you ready?" after 3, and listen for the reply, everyone. 1, 2, 3!
Are you ready?
Right, here we go. So we need to remove the first safety. Remember, every safety that comes off, the danger increases. First safety is a chain. So everybody, after 3, shout, "Remove the chain," listen for the reply. 1, 2, 3!
Remove the chain!
Right, we need to now remove the pin that immobilises the trigger. So after 3, as loud as you can, remove the pin, listen for the reply. 1, 2, 3!
Remove the pin!
That's it, we're set, we're ready to go. The one question I get asked the most is, why can't we go over there when this show is on? Because at this moment, we've gone from being a reenactment device to being a loaded weapon. And all I'm ready to hear now is the cry, "Trebuchet live." Right, we're set, we're ready to go. All I need from everybody is a countdown from 10 down to 1, and then everyone shouts "loose." That's the command for this machine. With me, as loud as you can. 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
and ladies, the mighty Trebuchet! Now, don't go anywhere. That machine takes, to get that machine operating every day takes an awful lot of effort. Firstly, we've got a really skilled gentleman in charge today, one of the few people who knows how to operate these machines and absolutely adores them. Can I hear a big, loud cheer from everybody for the Trebuchet Master March? But also, my lords and ladies, the people who've done the real effort are those who've lifted 7 tons before your very eyes. Can I hear the biggest, the loudest cheer for the Trebuchet Winders? My name is Master Topwood, and I thank you all for watching the mighty Trebuchet. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy holidays for those who are breaking up soon.
Neither did I. This was like a